Hey there, it's Tyson Sharp here, and what you're about to tune into is a live coaching example of how to move past your business blocks and how to stop freezing when you're about to put something out to the world. Let's dive in.
Hello,
Hello, how are ya?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing very, very well. Thanks for jumping on. Thanks for
No
sharing
problem.
your light, your wisdom, asking these empowering questions in terms of getting some more, uh, definitely getting some more awareness around your patterns. Uh, So the question you wrote, so what do you do when you get a block? It's a great
So when
question.
I say a block, I mean if I want to be creative and I'm consciously thinking I want to go to Canva and be creative, I draw blank, or it feels when I say block, I mean it's like I freeze. And so when I am moving along and I've been doing a lot of work and everything is starting to look like I'm going to succeed. I'm going to launch my challenge. I do everything in a safe place. The minute I am to open up to the world, to serve the world, I freeze. I call it a block, but I think you could call it a freeze as well. And then I go into a lot of other things get done, and I go into major avoidance.
Okay. What are you looking to what's the difference you're looking to put out into the world? What's your gift? What's your dharma? What are you looking to help people with?
My gift is to bring to help people really to move from chaos to clarity, which is very large sentence, but it's when people are finding themselves overwhelmed, whether it's in business or in life. I work with them to put things in order, to simplify, and whether it's in business to bring in technical solutions, or if it's in life to go through use processes that help them uh, kind of simplify things and focus on what they need to do. I need to apply what I teach, really.
Same.
but I
Don't we all, right? Don't we all? I love it.
but I found in the last couple of weeks, I have found myself going into this freeze state as I have been doing a lot of things, growing, and then all of a sudden I've just gone into avoiding moving forward.
Mm. Well, let me ask you, why do people need this solution? Why do people need clarity? Why do people need more productivity? Why do people need to have these solutions so that they can move forward?
Because they feel happier, they feel more successful, they feel good about themselves, their life starts to flow better, and it's a very rewarding service. Like when I see the different results that people have, and the gratitude they have for me helping them find their way, it's very it is a beautiful experience
Great.
on both sides, them and myself.
Totally. And so does this feel like a pull? Does this feel your heart's calling? Does this feel expansive for you to help people in this way and move forward with this vision?
I would say yes, because I continue to be drawn to it. If I go sideways somewhere to do something else, I go back to it. So that's where I'm kind of, I wonder where I'm caught between myself. You call it child personality, I call it subpersonality. That's protecting me and keeping me in a safe place. And I'm thinking a fear of success. And yet I have had a great consulting business, very successful, where I was very engaged. But as time goes on and doubts creep in and things happen in life, suddenly you diminish. I have diminished myself, and so joining your group, for example, and listening to people and the different services they offer. That's where I said, good enough. Am I good enough? Like, who am I to offer what I have to offer? That question comes up. And I know I can say, who am I not to? But it's easier than said than done, because the feeling inside is constricting.
Mm. And describe that to me. So you said when you go onto Canva and you're looking to be creative, you have a block there, and then you also freeze when you're starting to put your work out there to the world. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes. It's like I have the ideas flow to me, but the action escapes me. Does
Okay.
that make sense?
Yeah. Give me an idea on one of the ideas. What's one of the ideas that have come through you, but that you have frozen on to putting out there to the world?
For Christmas, for example, to go and create the Christmas cards in Canva. I have profile pictures, and I have all sorts of information that needs to be put together and just put out there. But then I find myself avoiding and not doing it. With my website, I have it. I don't necessarily feel proud of it, but it's out there because it's more me than what I used to have as a website, because I moved from consulting into coaching and advisory. So it's in more alignment, and yet I don't know, is my heart in it or not in it? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that's something you'll definitely feel into as this pattern starts to move on, as this pattern starts to transcend, as this pattern starts to, leave. You'll start to feel more of what's aligned, right, and what's in your heart. Now, I think a lot of people can register with this. When we have ideas, when we have flow, when we have something that shows up that says, "Oh my God, that feels cool. That feels exciting. That feels like that would be my creative flow." But then when it comes to putting it out there to the world, actually executing on it and putting it in front of people, as you say, you can freeze, because in your mind, there's a side of you that says that's not safe.
Yes.
Right? Great. What's not safe about it?
Well, I guess it could be that it could be wrong, that it could be judged as not good enough, that the quality is not the best, and yet that's judgment again, right? So I think I could boil it down to fear of failure, fear of criticism, and yeah.
So criticism, judgment, failure, all those
Yes.
things, they're the criteria that your mind's made up to say, this means I'm not safe.
Yes, and I would say from what I perceive to be as professionally looking, whether it's images or whether it's websites or different things, what's professional and what's homemade, I will absorb the criticism. It's one trait that I'm learning to kind of balance out is, if I get criticized, I'm right there to take the blame and take the criticism and know I'm doing wrong, and this needs to be improved, that needs to be improved. If I receive a compliment, I feel very uncomfortable, and I feel like, no, it's nothing. And so I diminish the value of the positive feedback, and I increase the value of the negative feedback. And I behave like everything has to be worked at really hard, which is really not true. I'm learning that's not true, right? It doesn't have to be like that.
No.
Yet it's that inner conflicts or kind of going back and forth internally, when it's good enough and when it's not good enough. That little voice, right? And I'm aware of the voice, but sometimes it feels like I just want to resign and I just not forget it.
Yeah.
And maybe it's that I'm trying too hard and I should just allow it to flow and stop trying and just stop worrying about it. I don't know.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. We can stop worrying about it, but this is coming up for a reason. This a lot of people can, it can be sometimes in someone's expansion to completely bypass it, to completely reframe it and to move on with something else. I feel right now, because of the work you've done, because of the level of awareness right now, this thing is actually coming up to be seen. This side of you is coming up to be seen. These emotions are coming up because they're ready to move on. They're not ready to be rejected anymore. They're not ready to be reframed and shifted anymore. They're ready to just be seen, to be loved as they are. And a lot of people listening to this can resonate, because it's similar. When we have that, what you call that little voice come up, sometimes that little voice is trying to avoid failure, trying to avoid going broke, trying to avoid judgment. But that's similar. I describe this all the time. That's similar to a 5-year-old not wanting to cross a busy road for the first time. And you as the parent are holding that 5-year-old's hand, and you're about to guide them on, how to cross the road safely. And the 5-year-old's freaking out saying, we're going to die. These cars are big. These cars are fast, right? And if we get hit, we're going to get hurt. We're going to die. And so the 5-year-old has all the positive intent in the world, right? The 5-year-old's protecting the mum that says, Mum, look, you don't get it. These cars are hard. I felt it before. It's really hard. They're going to hit you. But the mum has extra experience, has more wisdom, has more guidance, right? So the mum doesn't necessarily believe the 5-year-old, right? The mum doesn't believe the 5-year-old in the beliefs and thoughts of we're going to die. But the mum allows the 5-year-old to just go through this experience, right? They can feel scared. They can feel, in danger. They can feel however they want to feel. But the mum's still going to wait for them to be a break in the road and cross safely, right? And guide that 5-year-old to teach them how to do that. And that's exactly what you're starting to do here, is you're starting to notice and observe those 5-year-olds that are freaking out, that says, if we get judged, if we fail, right, we're not going to be safe, we're not going to be loved, we're not going to feel enough. Can you feel that?
Yeah.
And so this 5-year-old's coming up to be seen. Now, let me ask you, when you're about to release something, when you're about to put something out to the world, and you have those doubts of, this isn't good enough, people are going to judge me, I'm going to fail, all those things, where is it you feel it in your body? Where is it that you feel that? Is it your head, your shoulders, your chest?
It's more in my chest.
In your chest. Okay, great. If you're about to release
chest
something.
and throat, right? It's just like
okay.
Tightness.
Great. All I want you to recognize is this is coming up because it's ready to be released. It's ready to be seen. Everything's happening for you. A lot of people don't really realize life's happening for you. And it's not your responsibility to do anything here. The more you sit with this, it just happens, right? A lot of people are focused on doing. What people don't realize is when you sit in silence, you're being done. You're just being done. And this is exactly what's happening right now. So when you feel this in your chest, if you're imagining putting something out there to the world, whether it's a Facebook Live, whether it's a different product, whether it's these Christmas cards, whatever it may be, can you feel what this feels like in your chest, in your throat? Can you describe it to me, what it feels like? Is it the tightness? Is it the restriction? Is it empty? Does it feel heavy? Is it jagged? Is it pulsating?
It's a heavy, constricting kind of feeling.
Awesome.
It feels like, that's why I use the word block, because I kind of arrived at a point thinking it's almost like a writer's block, right? You have all these ideas and everything. The minute you pick up the pen and get a piece of paper, you want to start to write, you draw blank, and everything just kind of just tightens up.
Yeah. Did you ever, as a kid, did you ever play with those toy blocks that you sort of move around and stack up against each other and all those different things?
Yeah.
This is really interesting. I'm fascinated by the word block because a lot of people think it like there's a roadblock. But when you're a playful child, what is a block?
Something, piece of something that you play with, you stack your, it's a toy.
Yeah. It's fun. It's a toy. It's something that you truly just can use to create, right? But it takes the playfulness, it takes the openness of a child to recognize that. It takes the creativity, the flow, and the playfulness. For a child might have 7 blocks. Now, if an adult says, I have 7 blocks, everyone's like, man, you're done for. If you have 7 blocks, you're never going to move forward again. If a child has 7 blocks, they're like, I can build this, I can move it here, we can use it in this way, this block on top of that one, this one supports that one, and you create a whole fantasy world out of it, right?
Yeah, good point.
Now, here's the thing with the blocks, quote unquote, blocks in us, if something is coming up, you can see that your mind might be freaking out saying there's a block here, I can't move forward. But there's also a side of you that says there's a block here, that means there's an opportunity. There's something to play with. Can you feel that?
Yes.
If you're willing to play with it, you can see the opportunity. You can see the gifts, right? Because this is coming up to be seen, it's coming up to be felt, it's coming up to be released. Underneath that are a lot of gifts, especially if this is the area that you're looking to help people with as well.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So for a moment, if you're to just breathe and welcome in this feeling, welcome in the feeling in your chest and your throat, whatever may come up, the restriction, and you were to just feel this, you're welcoming it in and you're holding a loving, safe space for it. If you're holding a loving, safe space for it, you can almost imagine this 5-year-old sitting on your lap, because this 5-year-old has a belief that says, if my life looks like this, and if I make this mistake, or if I do this, or people judge me, then I won't feel enough. Now, a lot of people will try to make their life match the way their 5-year-old wants it to be, so the 5-year-old doesn't feel like they're not enough. Instead, what you can do is just allow that 5-year-old to feel however they need to feel, because they're coming up to be seen. If this 5-year-old comes up to you and is ready to be seen and you go change your life to make them feel better, they're not going to feel seen.
Right.
But if you have a playfulness, if you have a love, if you have a gratitude, if you have joy for this 5-year-old, no matter what they feel, you can hold a loving, safe space for this feeling, and you can just be the one observing it and truly recognize that it'll move on in its own time. It's just your job to feel it and allow it to be there without judgment and without resistance. If it's there without judgment and it's there without resistance, you can trust that it will move on in its own time when it's meant to,
Mm-hmm.
and you can access the gifts on the other side.
Beautiful. Thank you.
So as you feel it right now, as you breathe it in, can you feel the restriction in your chest? Can you feel it in your throat?
Yes.
Great. So welcome it in and breathe with it. And I want you to also feel the safety that's there. So you might want to exaggerate this feeling in your chest, this restriction, just for a moment, so you can consciously be more aware of it. But welcome it all in, welcome it there without resistance, without judgment. Just surrender and to have more aspects of allowing. And while you feel it, you can also feel a level of safety that you have for it. And the reason why we know that is because it's coming up because there's an element that you've already offered a level of safety. You've already offered a level of safety for it to come to your conscious awareness. It's sort of like the child in the park. If the 5-year-old comes up to you because they've lost their parents, they're coming to you because you have an aura of safety. You've opened up a level of safety where this 5-year-old feels safe to come to you. It's exactly the same with emotions. You've reached a level of consciousness and you've opened up a level of safety where these 5-year-olds are ready to be seen. These emotions are ready to be seen. So can you feel the constriction? And can you also feel the level of safety? Can you also feel the environment of love and safety for this feeling? Can you notice that?
Yeah.
Great. Because if you're to notice it, that means you're the noticer. You're the observer. You're not the emotion. You're not even the safety. You're not even the love you're feeling. You're the space that all of this is existing in. Because if you can describe it to me, that means you're not the emotion. You're the one that's watching it. So observe right now. Observe and feel the love, the safety, the restriction, the fears, the worries. Just hold a loving, safe space for all of it. And just notice what happens. What are you feeling now? What's going on in your body? What's going on in your mind? What's coming up?
I'm starting to feel more relaxed. Like it's easing of the constriction.
So let the relaxation be there. And the more you feel relaxed, the more you can just allow whatever's coming up. You might have judgments about it. You might have this constriction. You might have some fears come up. You can truly relax while also feeling this. You can allow the relaxation to expand and also notice whatever's coming up and pay attention to whatever's coming up. So continue to breathe that in. Allow yourself, give yourself permission to feel restricted. Give yourself permission to feel fear. Give yourself permission to feel safe. Give yourself permission to feel the love. And while you do that, you might also notice the gift here, because all your clients, everyone in your audience, they're going through something very, very similar. They're feeling these uncomfortable emotions, and we're conditioned by society to avoid and to resist them. From this space of vulnerability, openness, honesty, you're leading the way. You're being the leader. You're being the one who's able to transcend these patterns, and you can do it for them because you're now doing it for yourself. It's a different way to look at life, different way to look at it, ourselves, different relationship we have with ourselves. So let's check in. What are you feeling now? What's coming up?
I'm still feeling a little bit of the constriction.
Great. What else?
I think that's it. Like I don't. Hesitation. Hesitation to let go. I guess fear of letting go.
Yeah. Great. Allow that fear to be there. Hold a space for that hesitation. No matter what comes up, who and what you are is so much bigger. So you may feel the hesitation to let go, the fear to let go. Hold a space for that. Just open up your level of safety, open up your level of awareness, open up your level of allowing, and just surrender to more and more and more. Whatever comes up, surrender to it. The fear may be being let go. And then you have this judgment that says, don't let that go. That's not safe. That's not familiar. Hold a space for that. Allow that to be there. And just breathe with it. Can you feel you being done? Can you feel life happening for you? Can you feel all of this is happening for your expansion? Your mind might be freaking out, but that's why it's expansive. The more you sit here, the more you allow it. It's just, you're being done. Life's doing all the heavy lifting. All you have to do is just sit and allow and surrender and just let life do what life is doing. So hold a space, continue to breathe. Continue to feel the constriction, the fears, the doubts, the love, the safety. It's amazing how when you surrender at deeper levels and you just sit in silence, all this stuff comes up. All this stuff comes up that's ready to be seen, that wasn't being seen. Because there was a side of you that said, I need to succeed in order to not feel these sides of me. What's coming up now?
What came up was that I'm okay just the way I am.
Perfect. Explain that to me.
It comes like, stop trying to be something that's just be. Instead of trying to be, just be.
Yeah. Powerful. Very powerful. And you're just being right now.
And that feels good.
Yeah. And notice how it feels good no matter what emotions you're feeling. That's a deeper level of good. A lot of people are trying to feel good on the surface. You're starting to feel good that's a lot deeper. You can feel good while feeling whatever emotions are coming up. I noticed this when I sat in this chair for 6 hours and I had tears rolling down my face and I was feeling sadness while feeling so much freedom. I was feeling freedom because I gave myself permission to feel sad. I let myself know that I love the side of me that feels sad. So I was able to feel free, to feel safe, to feel loving while also feeling sad. You're starting to feel good. You're starting to feel, more at one with life. You're starting to feel more your aspect of being, no matter what emotions are coming up. Describe to me what that's like.
It's like quiet. It's calm. It's like floating above and watching and not getting engaged.
Mm. And what emotions are you feeling now? What is your body feeling? What sort of sensations and vibrations are going around your body right now?
I have a little bit of a backache. Other than that, I would say I'm feeling a little bit of a tension in my body. But overall, I'm feeling calm, peaceful, and just silence, internal silence.
This is where all the answers are found. This is where you say, oh, I noticed my patterns, and instead of trying to be somebody, I'm just going to focus on being. That wisdom is not found in action when it's from a pattern. I don't care how many Christmas cards you put out there.
None on the online, but I did send out quite a few today.
So you can spend 5 hours on Canva creating the most beautiful things in the world. If it's from a pattern of trying to feel enough, you'll never reach that level of wisdom that says, let's focus on being. But
Yes.
here's the beautiful thing. When you're from an aspect, if you are sitting in being, if you're sitting in silence, what type of creativity can flow through you, and what can you pour into those cards that can be from your heart? Right?
Yes, beautiful.
Even in your business, when you're doing marketing, when you're putting out videos, when you're starting to outreach, when you're starting to prospect, whatever you feel called to do in your business, people can feel when you're sitting in being.
Yes.
People can feel that. They can feel when you're coming from your heart or when you're coming from a pattern. And by sitting in silence and noticing and observing and loving all sides of you, you reach stillness. You reach this deeper level of wisdom where people look at you, they can look at your eyes and say, this person cares about me. This person doesn't need anything from me. They don't need me to change. They're here to serve. They're here to help in a way that's aligned. Can you feel that?
Beautiful. Yes, I do.
Great. Awesome. What else is coming up? Any other questions? Anything that you want to talk about or discuss?
I think what it all comes down to is what you just said, with taking the time to go into the stillness and taking the time to recognize and love the different emotions that come through rather than resisting them.
Yeah.
And that's a big awareness, to be aware and stop resisting and start loving and embracing all of me.
Yes. Here's the question. What happens when you love the side of you that can freeze, the side of you that's frozen? When you're about to put something out there, when you're about to release something, the side of you that freezes, what happens when you're able to even love that side of you and everything they feel, everything they believe, everything what's going on inside them? What happens when you hold the loving safe space for that side of you?
I think it releases some of the pressure, and you just go forward, and you I would say it increases the confidence and the trust in self, that it's all okay, and whatever I put out there is going to reach the people that are supposed to be reached.
Yeah. Do you feel that deeper level of trust? There's a deep level of trust here that says, if I release this, I just know it's going to reach the right people. It's going to reach those that it can help, right?
Sometimes I can feel that, but that I would say would be maybe 30% of the time.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Well, you're going to start feeling it more and more, because let me ask you now, being in stillness and truly allowing this wisdom to come through, what is this wisdom? You have like this, I call it the sort of the inner sage. You have an inner sage within you that comes through with this wisdom that says all the answers are found in being. The answers are found in stillness. It's this deep level of wisdom that you just accessed. Now, let me ask that side of you. What does that side of you, that inner sage, say about rejection? What's the truth about rejection? What's the truth about failure?
That it's not, failure is an opportunity and rejection is not real. It's an external thing that really doesn't mean, it's rejection is actually more in our head, in my head, I should say, not in whoever could conceivably do the rejecting, because they don't even know. They may actually love what I do and appreciate what I have offered, what I have created, what I have drawn or written or said. And it's only my inner critic that is doing the rejection. So it's self-created.
Yeah.
It's not, it's an illusion.
Yes, totally. And you can remind yourself of that before you release something, before you put yourself out there. When you feel this side of you start to freeze, you can hold a loving, safe space for it and ask your inner sage on what the truth is. Your inner sage is always there. Your inner sage is accessed through stillness, through safety, through love, and the wisdom will always pour through. The truth around what's happening, the truth around what you feel, the truth around the gifts, the truth around the opportunity that you have right now. And there's a deeper level of trust. Like you just trusted life to just do what it just did then. And you trust life to continue to do what it's meant to do. Right? And you will evolve into the version of you that you're meant to become because you're allowing it to happen without resistance and without judgment. What are your thoughts?
Allow it and embrace it.
That's all we can ask for, hey? Well,
Yes.
Thank you for jumping on. I truly appreciate it. I love the fact you're able to just honestly and openly just share what's going on for you. And no doubt you're going to pass this on to your audience, through your content, to your clients, everything like that. This level of wisdom is going to flow through and you're going to allow them to access their inner sage as well. And that's what makes it exciting because it's just a ripple effect that just continues, right?
Yes, thank you.
Awesome. Yes. You're very welcome.
Beautiful.
Thanks for jumping on.
Thank you.
No problem.